Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this Patreon voted episode, we watched Johnny English.
I remember it had a good song, but I can't remember what the song was. It's Johnny English. I don't know.
Performed by Robbie Williams.
It was. I was so disappointed when I found out it was performed by Robbie Williams because I liked that song. Well, I can't listen to it now.
I also liked the joke that was going on in the intro where he's walking through the hallways and keeps getting lost.
Mm.
And so by the time the film starts, that's when he's finally coming outside.
Yeah.
So this was definitely one that I loved when it came out. I watched this a lot. It's also got big film 4 energy.
Yes.
Oh, massively.
I've seen it on TV, like never from the beginning, just in bits, so many times.
Yeah, that's something that I've enjoyed about this film and other films that we've done on the podcast is I get to watch the rolling credits. It's not, oh, that's on and it's only been on for 10 minutes. I'll watch it.
Here we get to see the intros of films we've never seen before. I really liked this film when I was younger. Don't know what happened. Somewhere along the way, that hatred grew.
So something ruined movies for you.
Something not movies. So one specific
Rowan
actor.
Atkinson.
One specific actor. I don't know when it happened, but it was definitely after I watched this film. Because to people that don't know, I have an unrelenting hatred for Rowan Atkinson that I can't explain. I don't understand, but it's there. I should have liked this film. I should love this film. This film is everything I love about films. It's stupid. It's a parody. Fuck, I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's a good parody as well.
Yeah.
Like the tropes of the generic things. There's the weird spy gadgets and all that kind of thing.
The fast
the
car,
bit with the pen is always
the girl,
Yeah.
the French being the baddie.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that you need in a movie.
I mean, there's like a spy so this film is a spy parody. It is a specifically James Bond parody.
Yes.
Where it's like frightfully English spy doing frightfully English spy stuff against the French, which is very of its time, very specific, and I'm sure is evidence that the Brexit Party used.
Very 2001.
There are better spy parodies.
Oh, for sure,
action
but we're not talking
parodies.
about them yet.
Can we? Can we not? Can we please talk about the better ones?
Oh, like Johnny English Strikes Back.
No, I meant
So Mike Myers plays two characters.
Yes.
One of them is a British spy.
Well,
One of them is the bad guy.
So my main issue with this film, and yes, I have issues, and I'm going to talk about them because that's what I do on this podcast. Is I complain. The jokes I should have liked, but I feel like they didn't quite go far enough in terms of the style, and it's like a Leslie Nielsen film, but not. It doesn't go all the way for me, and I'm like, I'd rather it just go full airplane, Naked Gun style. It doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of points where you're expecting the jokes to go further, but they just kind of
flounder a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I feels like it could have been more reserved, the jokes, but instead the jokes go too far. It's not got that happy medium.
Yeah. Whereas, which is insanely difficult. I've only ever seen 2 films that weren't specifically Leslie Nielsen and that group of creators making that kind of comedy, because it is so difficult to get that right and it not look bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying I could have written this movie better.
No. This film,
We've said that about some movies.
great. We will.
Yeah.
do. because we can. Because I think anyone can with some of the films we've seen.
So basically,
plot.
Johnny English accidentally. The premise is he accidentally gives the wrong code to 001, number 1, the spy, who was the probable sort of the James Bond archetype. He gets the wrong launch code or door opening code. Anyway, he dies, and it's kind of Johnny English's fault, but no one can really prove it, I guess. During his funeral, obviously all the other spies go, and Johnny's put on the security, and they all get killed in an explosion.
Yeah, I don't quite understand why Johnny English was put on security detail.
No, considering he's basically like an accountant or a researcher. Like,
Yeah, no, I don't think
he's not an agent.
I don't think that's ever explained, but that's fine.
Maybe it's because he got him killed. They're like, no, you're on security.
need
You're
to
not allowed
stay
to
away."
mourn.
Well, it might be the
You
same
just
reason
stay
that
away.
he ends up being the number of spies, that he was like the only person they didn't really think was worthy of going to the funeral.
Yeah,
That's a good
he's the
point.
only other guy left.
And then all of the other spies, like I said, get exploded. As he is explaining that it is perfectly fine. Like the setup to the rest of the jokes is like everything's fine. Explosion.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
old
like,
classic.
it's safe. Boom.
Yeah, the classic. And that sets up like
Because Johnny English is very confident.
yes, Johnny English is a perfect character where he believes he is an incredibly amazing spy. He is the best spy in the world, and his assistant
Is there?
name
Boff,
Boff. His assistant Boff also believes he is the best spy in the world.
played by Ben Miller, who was
But
great.
a
in
much
this.
funnier person,
Yes.
in my opinion. Oh, loads of people are going to hate me because like Rowan Atkinson is legendary British comedian, and I don't get it.
Oh, I
But
think
we'll
he's
push
brilliant.
past it.
I loved these films when I was a kid. Like I don't think I've seen. I think I've seen the sequel, but I've seen so many times, and it always brought me joy. But it was one of those films that was like quoted around the dinner table, and
Oh yeah, no, this was like for the brief spark that it was, because this doesn't like hold any historical. No one remembers this film amazingly, but it was big when it was around. Like people aren't now being like, "Oh, do you remember Johnny English? The
he's
great film
he's still
of the
more
2000s?"
famous for Mr. Bean.
Yeah, 100%, and Blackadder and all the other
Blackadder,
stuff.
Yeah.
But this was like huge flash in the pan, fucking everywhere when it came out.
Now it's just sometimes on film 4.
Yeah, it's on film 4.
And I always seem to catch it from the bit where he's about to fall in the hole.
Yeah, so
Because so the
story,
premise.
Yeah,
There's a plot to he's like the only spy left. There's a plot to steal the crown jewels while they're going to like give them back to the queen after they've been refurbished or something.
Mhm.
And he's on security there because he's the spy, and to no surprise they get stolen while he's faffing about in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Like pretending to fight someone who he knocks out.
Well, the lights go out, and then someone, like one of the other guards, comes in, like a sir or like a knight person. Johnny English whacks him over the back of the head when the lights are out. Lights turn back on. He's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it's to cover his own ass. Like
Yeah, it's to
he
cover
doesn't want to
himself.
admit that he hit the wrong person.
Yeah, and then he pretends to have a fight in a different room for far too long. That joke goes on forever, and I wanted it to end.
Yeah, it was a bit cringy, but I feel like was 2003 just a time where did we have longer attention spans? Where we just, did kids just lap that shit up and we were just enjoying it? I mean, you aside,
Maybe.
Mikey, but other children with,
I
big
enjoyed
hearts and
I enjoyed this film. I understand
A
my
sense of
heart is
humour.
shriveled and evil, and I don't have a sense of humor. I have a very specific sense of humor. So when something hits, it hits. I enjoyed this film when it came out. I enjoyed this film when I was younger. I just don't like it now because I saw
Yeah, I
better films.
definitely had a less good time watching it this time round, I'll admit. Like it was all right, but
yeah, it's kind
yeah,
of
it didn't really.
I was watching it and having like pleasant moments of nostalgia, followed by mostly kind of boredom.
That sounds about right.
And then
Yeah.
so all of the crown jewels are stolen. There's the main villain at this point. I think he's kind of being set up as a villain, which is French businessman
Savage.
Yeah.
I think
Savage.
his
That's
name.
it.
Yeah.
He's a really good character.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
John
like
Malkovich
her.
just having an absolute ball.
With the wildest French accent.
It is how you say terrifique.
It's the best character in the film because he's so over the top and it's so ridiculous. It's great.
And jumping ahead to the plot is to get himself crowned.
Yeah,
So the big bad evil guy's plan, Savage is going to try and get himself crowned by getting the queen to
abdicate,
Abdicate.
forcibly abdicate the throne.
Yeah, he's like a really distant relative or something.
Well, he can't be that distant because if it goes and let
I think they threatened a lot of people. Was it just the Queen, or was it a whole bunch of them?
It was her corgis, I think.
Might have been more. Maybe he was like closer in line. It's hard to tell. They're like
2
their
seconds
family
of it.
tree is more like a circle. So
Also, the film spent 2 seconds of it being like,
yeah,
he's gonna make the Queen abdicate and then he becomes king. Okay.
Yeah.
How does that? No, it's fine. Ignore it.
and the reason that he wants to become king is because he basically wants to Australia England.
Yes, he wants to make
Yes.
England a prison.
Yeah, he wants to make the entire island a big prison.
As the Brexit Party put it, EU's plan for England.
Just makes you begs the question: why not like Greenland or Iceland,
Or just nowhere.
or just not do it?
Or just well, it does bring up the good point, which is the Queen can take any land she wants.
Yeah, probably not for very long though.
That's a point that the film makes.
Yeah,
that
it really
where
over
they kind of-
exaggerates the actual the control the monarchy has.
Yeah, it's very funny that she can take anything, which I don't know is true, but it's one of those things that, like,
If
everyone
she
says
wanted
that
a revolution and to not be
Yeah.
a queen anymore and not have any of her sprogs be king or queen anymore, yes, she could demand all the land back.
Yeah,
I think that, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you play nice and you can still be our queen.
yeah.
As long as you
I
do
mean,
absolutely nothing.
as long as you don't do your job, if you don't do the thing that essentially you're getting paid for, it's fine.
As long as all you do
He's
is
alright,
spend
nice.
millions covering up for your paedophile son, it's fine.
Let's talk. I mean,
In the big fucking house you live in. Seriously, I'm on Savage's side.
I'm
Fuck
a
the
little
monarchy.
bit on some... No, I'm not
He's
on
not
Savage's
against,
side.
he's not anti-monarchy.
Not entirely.
He's not
He's-
anti-monarchy.
No.
he's pro-monarchy. He's
Very
pro him
pro.
being monarch. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
I like to say, yeah, I'm fairly anti-monarchy. I'm also anti-Savage being king and
I'm
turning us
anti.
into a penal colony.
Yeah, I'm anti-prison island too.
Yeah. We don't really like Australia that much.
It worked out okay for them, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're more successful podcasters than us, so must have done.
It's not like the country is still being hit by waves and waves of the after effects of colonization and what we did to them. It's fine. We're very
Well,
sorry.
Anyway, so Rowan Atkinson makes some silly faces.
Yes.
it's hard to
The film
be.
got very political. So he is.
So they get into a car. They go through the sewers, find where the jewels were, and they were like put into the back of a hearse. And so there's a great car chase where his car is getting towed.
Before that, there's a joke that's set up that I don't think they do enough, and it would have been great if they did it kind of more throughout the film. When they go down the hole that the crown jewels were taken from. It's a very funny sentence. And they're in like a pitch black sewer, and Johnny English says like, "Oh, there's the monks of X and X place know how to navigate purely through echolocation, but it has to be in a high C."
It was like E flat.
E flat, that's
Yeah.
it. And he just starts making a noise and walking around.
No, he starts singing ABBA.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He goes like E flat, E flat, E flat, you.
You bloody-
Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. I've seen this
And he
film
just-
enough times to
Yeah.
know that. I can confidently say that is what happened.
And he just walks into a wall.
Yes.
And Bob is like, "Is it working, sir?"
Well, I love the bit just before that where he's like, Buff is like, I am stuck, and he's like, right, I'm coming in, and he like falls down, and he's like,
Yeah.
Buff's immediately like, are you okay? So he's like, yes, I had a soft
fell on
landing. He was like, that, yes, that was
Yeah.
me, sir.
Yeah. Boff is a great straight man in this film.
Yes, he never
plays it
breaks.
really
he never
well.
breaks character.
No, and yeah, but that joke of like these people somewhere do this thing that's impossible.
Yeah.
Johnny only happens like twice, and I wish it happened more
Yeah,
as like a running gag, which makes me think it was, and then it was cut out.
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like,
It's a character trait.
yeah, it's a character
like,
trait,
it's
and
him,
it's ridiculous.
it's him pretending to be a better spy than he is by just making stuff up.
Or he's not making it up, but he's misremembering, and two, like it's just, he's always wanted to be a spy. He's read loads of spy books. He's read loads of how-to guides. He's got the
Yeah.
wiki guide, WikiHow page up for like how to get
spy.
back crown jewels,
How to do spy.
how to spy.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And he's just like over enthusiastic, but he's all theory, no practice.
Yeah, I just wish it come up more. Yeah, and then we have the hearse chase scene.
Yes, so his car's being towed. He gets the spy company car, I guess.
Yeah.
Fun bit of trivia, that was Rowan Atkinson's actual car
Uh,
that they use. Or it's
well,
the same
I guess
model.
Because if you can't hire an expensive car, you go to the guy that has a car and goes, "Hey, can we use that?"
You think that's why he got the role?
Yep. Oh man.
He was originally supposed to be Ben Miller, but then the Rowan was like, "Well, I've got this car we could use, but I just
very
want to
nice.
renegotiate
Yeah.
the roles while we're still in writing."
Ben Miller only had a Honda.
That would have been so much better if
Yeah,
it
to
was
be
a
fair,
shit
like
car. then.
a car, yeah, but like still decked out in all the spy stuff.
Yeah, this is his car. But yeah, no, that would have been really funny.
It's like just a Honda Civic with the drop-down champagne.
Yeah. But yeah, it does like really good parody of the car chase, the like famous spy car chase scene, which is the car is getting on a towed machine.
Yeah, it's on the back of a tow
machine,
truck.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I know, and I said it.
for a bit.
Yeah, on the
Um,
back of a truck, which is great. Like it's such a good chase scene.
It's sort of grabbed by the crane, and so it's hanging across the edge of the truck a lot of the time as well. And then you get the bit where like the speed camera goes off, and it's right in his face, and he just shoots a missile at it to blow up the speed camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember my parents finding that really funny when they were saying that they wish, there's been times when they wish they could do that with their car.
That's such a parent joke. That's such an adult joke to tell at that point. You go, ha, 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 ha. Oh, that's
So we haven't mentioned yet,
Speedy.
but there's also someone else that they've been noticing that's been floating around. And yeah, it's Natalie Imbruglia.
oh yeah, no,
How's
it
her
is.
surname?
It's
Oh
Natalie
yeah,
Imbruglia.
singer-songwriter
Okay.
Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah, which is very weird because I don't think she was like an actor. I don't think she acted often. I don't think she has
Maybe
like
it's just a breakout role.
as a breakout role. She chose
No,
this
she
film.
really. She's done some stuff.
Johnny English 2,
Nope.
Johnny English 3.
Johnny
Nope.
English 4.
She was
not
in
out.
Neighbours for.
Neighbours doesn't count.
She was in Neighbours for 151 episodes.
Oh,
That's like 2 weeks worth of Neighbours. It's fine.
She was in a short called, and I'm going to say this so you know I'm saying letters and not the words. You be the judge.
great.
Okay.
But yeah, it's weird that she's in this. As like
I only really know her for torn.
Yeah.
I'm a letter face.
this
yeah.
is why I'm
We're going to get so many copyright strikes for this
Good night.
episode.
We should just sing better. Oh, Rebecca Black was in You Be the Judge.
thought she was
Wow.
going to say she was in Johnny English. I was like, what? Was she a baby?
She was in the funeral scene.
She's one of the children crying
Yeah.
that he mocks.
Which-
So he ends up chasing the wrong hearse.
Yeah.
And ends up getting to this funeral and just like harassing the people who are all mourning.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good bit of dramatic irony there where you, as the audience, notice that he's first he's following a hearse with Dad in flowers all along the coffin, and then he loses sight of it for a second, then he starts following it again, and when it turns around the corner, it says Mum, and you know it's a different hearse.
Yeah. And it's like going into a church.
It's very funny.
Yeah. I didn't like that scene.
I mean, it's bad, I think, when he's saying, like, Ben Stiller's character is kind of put on the spot and realises he needs to get his boss out of it.
Yeah.
Ben Miller.
Ben Miller.
No, Ben
sorry.
Stiller.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller's in this
Ben
movie
Stiller
now.
is in this film.
Oops.
Vince Vaughn is Johnny English.
Oh no.
No, Will Ferrell.
The American
Will Ferrell and Ben Stiller in this movie.
I would never, even for this podcast, I wouldn't watch that film.
If they make that film now because of this podcast, I
Oh,
wouldn't watch it.
No, I wouldn't watch it.
I'm going to pitch it. It's called Keith America.
Oh no.
So Boff has to like get him out of the
Awkward sitch.
and he basically is like saying that he escaped from a lunatic asylum,
Yeah. Didn't
to which he starts just making weird noises.
didn't age particularly well, that scene.
No. It's
No.
pretty dismissive of
Played off for laughs.
mental health and
Yeah.
but I still thought it was funny when I was a kid.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Oh,
Now
for
it's
sure,
like-
yeah.
But now it's a bizarre. Like, it's not.
The weird thing is how British it is, where like these people aren't immediately once they find out that he's unwell.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, okay,
They're
we're
like,
sorry.
oh goodness, oh bless him, sorry.
We're sorry.
And he's like, it's not urinate, and everyone's like, oh no, and they like just let him go
Yeah.
rather than being like cross that he'd interrupted their funeral.
Yeah. I can't remember what happens after that. I just like
There's the
like,
bit. So they
a
find
jump.
Savage has stole the jewels, and like
they get told off
thing.
for pursuing
Yeah,
Savage.
they get told off for-
They get told not to look into it anymore. They're not interested.
well,
Yeah.
they find out that those two people that were working were hired by Savage, and
And that they're
it's like
ex-cons.
yeah, they're ex-cons and they work for Savage, and it immediately gets dismissed because Savage owns like 50 companies, and of course that's going to happen.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
also
like,
he's told explicitly, do not pursue Savage anymore.
Yeah.
It's not okay. You're gonna, you're pissing him off, and that's
Yeah.
so they get in a plane and they go to his office.
Oh, just before this, there's the scene I always liked where he's with Natalie and Brulia in the sushi restaurant,
Yep.
and his tie gets caught in the sushi conveyor belt,
Yeah.
and he gets dragged along the restaurant. And then they get in the plane.
Yeah, then there's the plane. I couldn't remember how it got to the plane. It just kind of cut to them on a plane.
Yeah, it just kind of this film is just like
I think she
scenes.
mentions is that she mentions that they're having a party, that there's a party, or he finds out that Savage is
Yeah.
having a party, and they're like, oh, it's a good excuse for us to break in
Yeah.
and like have a look around while there's everyone sort of distracted monitoring the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And so they're going to parachute in, and Boff is like, take this device, it will help you know exactly where to land. And he's like, I don't need that device, I'll be fine.
because there are two identical buildings, and one of them is Savage's office, and the other is a hospital. And guess which one our incompetent spy lands on?
Hang on, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess. Ready?
This film isn't intelligent, is what we can say. This film is like, you
It's
know,
the hospital.
Yeah. you know the jokes are coming, and it's, yeah.
Yeah, I
part
mean,
of
it's
the
not
film.
like it's an unexpected joke, but it is still funny the way that because he sees like there's obviously like infirm
ill
patients
people
at
in
the
the
ill people at the
hospital.
hospital. So he's like, oh God, what are they
What have they
doing to
done?
the people? And like, he speaks to someone that's got like dementia, and they're like, they've taken my blood.
Yeah.
So, how awful.
Doesn't. What's the sign that he sees on the door? I can't remember. Is it like X-ray or something?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
But he holds like an entire
Yeah.
floor.
But he's like, I don't know what's going on here, but this is gross. Thinking that obviously that they're doing some sort of human experimentation. They've got people in,
Yeah.
you know.
And then
And he's like, "Where's Savage's office?" And they point out the window to the building.
They all
opposite.
just look out the window.
and
Yeah.
Boff is stood there waving.
Boff is just there.
It's great. This film.
Like, did you land on the wrong building? He's like, I was just checking the perimeter.
And then in the actual building, he's still shit.
Yeah, this is the bit where he gets like the rings mixed up.
Yeah,
so there's like a ring of muscle relaxant and a ring of truth serum.
Yes. Which
And
they get caught. He jabs someone and goes, "Don't worry, Boff. It is a muscle relaxant." And then Boff hits him with a gun.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
so that
then
guy
when
passes
they-
out.
when-
So they're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, he'll be wobbly
Yeah.
when he wakes up, but
Yeah.
whatever.
and when they hit the guy that they think is with the truth serum, and he starts trying to talk, and he's like,
Yeah.
what?
And then he gets himself as well. Don't
Yeah,
he?
because
Yeah,
you think
so
I know
he
my
starts
left from my
going-
right, and he like, brings his hands up and then stabs himself.
What is wild in the hospital scene? This is where we learned that I almost called him Farage.
I mean,
This is where we learned the French.
He has got a French passport, hasn't he? Or is he a French wife?
Maybe same thing.
And he's in line to the throne.
and he's a massive racist cunt.
Not
No,
wrong.
Savage doesn't come across as racist.
Yeah.
Slightly Anglophobic, but you know.
Savage, that was it. This is where we look because they find a disc, a DVD, which has been burnt onto it, a introductory video into Savage's plan, which
Yes,
is
for his investors, I
to
guess.
yeah. I was like, I couldn't quite work out what that video was for
Yeah,
because
it's a PowerPoint presentation for the
No.
pyramid scheme that he's going to run.
no, it's a video of
Yeah.
him explaining his plan to
Yeah.
investors. The problem is later we see him talking to his investors about the plan. What was that video? Was he just going to put that video on and sit there?
I mean, maybe because the video is set up that Johnny's going to steal it, but they've also bugged Johnny's apartment.
No, I mean specifically that video. Why does that video
Yeah.
exist? Because it is Savage imposed onto a background explaining what he's going to do to England. Why does that video exist when he is going to be there in person to explain?
Maybe he can't tell all of the countries in person. So I'll show it to the first one so they've seen it, and then it'll also be shipped out and sent to their emissaries,
It
diplomats.
just seems like a weird thing. If they're all there, I don't know. It was just really bizarre of being like, this DVD only exists to explain to Johnny English what's going on. It's what it feels like. But yeah, then they get caught and do the whole stab and
Yeah, so
Fibbid when he's trying to write on the floor how to get out.
and is this the scene where he meets like Natalie Imbruglia and she explains who she actually is and that she's knows that later?
I think that's.
I think that's in the next place where they break into.
Oh yeah, so they break into Savage's office.
Into Savage's, like another building that Savage is in, where he climbs up the toilet or something.
It's like a castle in the off the coast of France or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We also learned that Natalie Imbruglia wants to sleep with Johnny English because she's the female protagonist, so she has to in a spy movie.
Which felt like a cop-out of like parody spy movie, because it was like, if it's a parody, you don't do that bit. You take the piss out of it. But she's like, you're so incompetent, but I can't take my hands off. I can't stop thinking about you. Yeah. That's not parody. That's just doing a spy movie.
No, that was frustrating. I felt like it would have been much funnier if she was like, just so not into him.
Yeah, of course I don't want to sleep with you.
She's just really into Boff. Like, that would have been good.
That would have been such a good joke. That would have been so much better.
Maybe I can write this movie.
Maybe we can. Just that one change.
Yeah, just that one bit. Perfect movie, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. So they break into Savage's offices while this party's happening. They see that he's making like a mask of the...
Oh, it's the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Oh,
isn't it? Yeah. And the guy that tries it on has a tattoo on his arse that says "Jesus is coming, look busy."
Yeah,
and
that
that line
tattoo,
I always found funny. Yeah.
That tattoo is the most obviously sharpied on by makeup tattoo I've ever seen.
Which is foreshadowing, because this film does a lot of foreshadowing. Like a lot of the stuff earlier turns up. I was just going to explain what foreshadowing is, but I don't need to. Yeah, a lot of the stuff.
I think we know what
earlier
foreshadowing
in the film. It turns up at the end of the film.
Wow,
it's like a reference to itself.
Damn.
Like, I know I over-explain things sometimes, but good God, you.
So yeah, they break into like a little castle or something where.
Oh, you've missed the party bit where he spills lots of wine.
Yes, because
he's on the muscle relaxant.
He's still recovering from.
Yes, and that is I'm sure that's where he meets Natalie Imbruglia, and she's like, I'm from Australian intelligence.
Yeah,
I think it is actually
because they go to the party as a trio and get taken off the case as a trio.
She saves them in. So when they're when English and the other guy are like have the muscle relaxant, she saves them there, I think.
Yeah, and then the other guy comes out of the lift that they'd knocked unconscious, but given the truth serum.
Yeah, and he tells where
so
to
then
go.
they're like, tell us how to get out.
Yeah,
so he does, and then he's like, oh no.
She saves them, and then they get to the party.
Because you've seen her in the background, like she's been following them this whole time, but it's unclear. Well, I mean, it's actually really fucking obvious, but it's supposed to be like unclear. Or is she following them because she's a baddie or because she's a goodie?
Yeah, and they take off their jumpsuits and they're wearing suits. In the old
so they go to this party
spy style. He's on muscle relaxing, so he spills drinks, and then Mota gets.
Well, the first time he's handed one. He's handed a glass of champagne, and he just immediately drops it on the floor.
Yeah,
and the waiter just sort of offers him another one.
Yeah. And then he meets a very important woman. I can't remember what her job was. Something at MI5, and he smashes his face into it.
Is it Madam Secretary or something?
Yeah,
he says.
Yeah, and his neck goes all floppy. And nothing.
So he sort of motorboats her.
Nothing happens out of that. There's no extra joke with that. It just happens, and she walks away.
Yeah,
it just happens. There's no extended court case where Johnny English is done for sexual harassment.
Yep. Yeah. It might have been brought up when they were fired. Like that would have been fine. I just can't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
So they're caught and they're taken off the case.
Yep.
And given a slap on the wrist.
Yep.
Yep.
And basically, I don't know why we thought you could do this. You are incompetent.
Yeah. And then they keep going. No, is that when they get taken off, or do they get taken off after they go to the island? We watched this film a while ago. Audience, so stay with us. Bear with us.
I think they get taken
before
off.
That's that prompts them to go to the island.
Right.
Go to the island and break into the castle where he climbs up the toilet.
Yeah, English climbs up the toilet and he's like covered in shit and
watches Savage's presentation and then accidentally leans on a button so
Well-
that the entire room can hear their plan.
She forces
Yes.
him to take a shower first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they're in like a separate room watching the presentation, which doesn't have the video that they showed earlier, where Savage is again explaining his plan because we have been told it, I think 3 times at this point.
Yeah, but kids
in
are
the film.
forgetful.
That is true.
We're forgetful. I mean,
Yeah.
We watched this film a week ago.
yeah.
Spoilers: we were meant to record this last week and we didn't. So now we're here trying
Someone
to
said we were too tired.
desperately remember.
I mean, we were.
Yeah.
And I like that none of us thought about watching it again. We were like, that'll be fine.
Oh, I thought about it. I ran out of time.
Yeah.
It wasn't on film for me to catch halfway through. It's fine. So I didn't watch it. Yeah.
So we're just desperately trying to remember what happened.
Yeah. So they break in and Johnny tries to steal the DVD, but it falls into a pile of DVDs and he very obviously picks up the wrong one.
Yep.
So that when he goes to show the DVD later, it will be something else.
You know that foreshadowing I mentioned earlier?
Yeah, they do that there again.
Yeah.
This really could be
So-
described as Chekhov's DVD.
The Chekhov's.
I think it pretty much goes straight. I mean, I don't have that many notes. I think it almost goes straight from here to him being crowned. Like,
So yeah, they
might be a
cut
bit
to
in
like
between.
him. He's putting his plan in action, and like Johnny English is very much told off because they're caught, aren't they, and sent back. And MI5's really cross with them for breaking in again.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to say, well, they're guilty, but they're like, no, whatever, we don't care, you're off the case.
This is.
And then the Queen abdicates at threaten because they put a gun to the head of one of the corgis.
Yeah, so she signed in, which is the best part of the film, by the way, is they hand her a letter that says something like, I, the Queen, willingly abdicate the throne, in like huge type so the camera can
Yes.
see it. And I like to think they were just like, she's old, she needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have very good eyesight.
And she just, oh man, it's really funny. And I don't think it's intentionally funny. I think it's meant to be, it's like we can't see the small writing.
Yeah, they probably printed it out normal sized and then
They
they
were
were like,
oh,
cut.
actually.
No, we can't see it. We can't focus on it and like
Yeah.
make it look good. So bigger, please.
Yeah.
And then do it again. And they're like, nope, bigger, please.
It is.
And then it jumped from 48.48 to 72, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's
I just like that they were like, Savage was like, she'll need big writing. And then there's the whole parade thing about the French king.
yeah. Savage is going to be king because of how lineage works.
Yeah.
Like everyone else abdicates or something, or
Or she can pick. I think when a king or queen.
well, there's a scene where they're like, Savage, we have to talk to you about this. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
she didn't pick, did she?
No, it's like we've worked it out through lineage, and actually you're the next in line.
Yeah.
It's because all the other ones aren't available because they're nonces. So
That would never. Let's not pretend that would ever stop anyone from getting to. certain
definitely.
things.
Position of
No.
power.
Yeah. But before we go into anything that might actually get us in trouble, So then it cuts to like TV and like radio of his
It's going to be the coronation.
coronation of a French, which like I'm very conflicted on how I think like the actual British public would respond. Because
I imagine not well.
Well, I don't know because I think royalists. There's a lot of royalists who are such royalists that they'll be like, well, obviously it's how lineage works.
Well, yes, he's got the blood of all the other ones that fucked each other, so he must be fine.
He's got
Yeah.
the same blood, literally. I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, it's meant to be. He's the next in line, even if he is.
Yeah, I think a lot of
French.
people will be like, we don't care.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of apathy, I think, when it comes to the royal family, and then there's the absolutely insane ones that can go either direction of, no, it must be false. He can't possibly be the next in line. Which, to be fair, is actually fairly rational thinking.
yeah, yeah.
But then it could be he's in line. It's got we'll support our monarchy till the end. Let's buy all the matching plates.
Yeah, and there's that weird image of a Union Jack and a French flag together, which is like it looks odd because it's not something that you see often or ever.
Yeah,
It was like
Yeah.
a combination of
we
flags.
hate each other.
It was weird, but yeah, it's just like I don't know how And there's a really good joke of the voiceover radio that says, "Please call in with any of your good points about the French." Haven't
It's like call in with. Don't forget to call in with your favourite things about the French. Our lines are still open.
We haven't had
we
any
are
yet.
yet to receive any calls, but we're here all day.
Yeah, that was solid.
Yeah, I like a good dig at the French. You know, it's patriotic.
It was just a very odd scene because I couldn't work out how real this reaction would be. Because in the film, everyone's going mad.
News presenters being forced to be positive about it, and most people either not giving a shit or thinking it's a bit weird.
No, because in the video, everyone's like really excited for it. There's like loads of people in the street with like French flags and stuff.
Maybe they were given the day off.
I mean, yeah, you would. It's a coronation.
Yeah.
I
mean, people would be like, yeah.
The amount of...
Remember when, we got it was the Queen's birthday and we got like an extra bank holiday and everyone was suddenly really, really
very
pro
into
the Queen's birthday?
Yeah.
Not the birthday, it wasn't not a birthday, the Jubilee, was it 70,
Jubilee?
70
yeah.
years?
Yeah.
And we got
70
a long...
years of an old lady sitting on a big golden throne.
Well, 70 years ago, quite a young lady.
I love bank holidays. I still have to work and don't get paid extra.
Oh man,
Great.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Although there weren't many people there because it's normally just old people that shop in garden centres and they were too busy having little Queen parties, so...
Queen party, by the way, very different to what we normally talk about when it comes to Queen parties. Normally we call those drag shows.
So Savage is crowned.
Yeah, well, Savage is almost
Well, he's
crowned.
about to
He's
be.
about to be crowned.
And then Johnny English comes in with the...
Well, I mean,
with...
after he's getting crowned because the crown jewels are put back, are given back mysteriously, and that is glossed over in a single sentence, which is...
Yeah, it's like they're just left at a bus stop or something,
Yeah,
aren't they?
they were anonymously turned in anyway, we're moving on. It's like, weirdly enough, no one in the country went, maybe that guy that's just about to be crowned, just after, number one, the Queen abdicated, number two, the crown jewels magically reappeared.
So why did he steal the crown jewels in the first place?
He did.
Why?
I think... No, that's a very good point.
Because now that I think about it, why did he...
He doesn't...
Why did he need the crown jewels?
He doesn't need to. Yeah. No, he definitely...
Because I thought he stole them so that he could then get crowned, but no, if they give them back...
Yeah, give them back, yeah.
Plot.
Was it like a last resort if, the country turned? Because, it's the jewellery that makes it legal?
If the Queen...
Maybe if they get stole, then it shows that the Queen is weak because her jewellery got stolen.
But that doesn't matter.
No.
She didn't stop being queen because the jewels were stolen.
Yeah.
Maybe it was proof to his investors that, he had the balls to do it.
Yeah, I guess that makes some...
Maybe it was a decoy?
To do
I don't
what?
know. I feel like that even the writers of the movie do not know.
But, he definitely...
They're like, well, we've written too much of the movie based on that now, so we can't take it out, but...
Is it,
oh well.
Is it just in case she quickly abdicated to someone else before his plan came to fruition? Which brings up the point, if the crown jewels aren't there, can they crown another...
Of course, we just use one of the other many crowns.
Yeah.
The Queen does not have one crown.
Does it have
there are
to be that one?
loads.
But it's also
There
the
are
scepter.
shitloads of expensive jewellery.
But it's also the scepter. And it has... No, the crown, the throne that's in the crown jewels, the hat that's in the crown, I'm not going to call it what it's called, what's in the crown jewels, is actually very specific and it has very specific jewels on it.
Yeah.
Does that need to be specifically used? Because if so...
I think it's preferable up until the point where they've gone missing.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I get the feeling that all the people who'd be able to answer this question have already stopped listening to this episode.
Well, at what point do you reckon they stop listening?
They've gone to
several.
read...
A
they've
couple
gone to go and
minutes
watch a
in.
Diana documentary.
A couple minutes in. But I'm just saying, if we took the crown and threw it in, if we took the Queen's fancy hat and fancy stick and threw it in the ocean,
And the fancy orb.
And the fancy
Don't forget
orb.
the fancy orb.
Because it's a magic crystal orb, threw it in the ocean, would they just be like, well, this is the last royal? Because we don't have the crown. We can't crown someone else. We don't have the crown.
No, they'd make a new one. They've got enough money.
But it's very...
They just take every poor person's money so they can make a new crown. It's fine.
I mean, guys, have you been to the Tower of London and seen the crown jewels?
Yeah.
No, they got stolen.
'Cause-
No, yes, I
'Cause
did.
there's
I
loads of
definitely
other
only saw them
crowns
and
and
didn't
stuff in
try to
there.
take them. But
It's not like those that this is a really old crown
Isn't it?
that loads of royals have been crowned with. Like there are others.
Isn't it a
They're
very
just not as
specific
fancy.
crown with like a very specific jewel on it?
I think it's got a big one.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's got like
Maybe
a
they've got
diamond.
like a slightly different crown, like how Johnny English had
Could
a
have-
slightly different DVD.
backup crown. Yeah, we should get back to the film because
I'm sure that I'm sure.
It's one of
Yeah,
the
I'm sure the Queen has
technicalities
backup
of-
crowns. I'm sure she probably has loads of replicas as well.
True.
Yeah, she's probably got a room for a backup crown in that big house of hers. It's fine.
Just a room full
Yeah.
of crowns.
So Johnny English is posing as one of the bishops.
Um,
Sorry, I just have this image of a because you know the Queen. I need to detail because this image won't leave my head. You know the Queen wears like pastel suit clothes and
Now that
stuff.
was the Queen Mum.
No, the Queen wears like. Oh no, she wears neon, doesn't she?
Yeah, no, the Queen. Remember where she wore actual green screen?
Yeah. Do you reckon if we have a king that they will follow that style of wearing like really bright single color clothes?
That would be
I'd
brilliant.
love
That would be
that.
make it worth keeping on the royalty.
Like that'd be the one reason I would want to keep a king on is just to have someone in like full pastel pink suit or neon green because
I mean, they will do because it will really kind of detract from the receding hairline
And affairs.
and the
and
pegging
paedophilia.
and the pegging, which is the least of all the problems. So
So Johnny English is dancing in his bathroom with a rubber duck.
yeah, Johnny English puts on the no. So at first he's like, "Aha, I've got you. Don't put that crown
Oh yeah,
on."
he goes to rip
That's not the real.
mask
That's not
off.
the real.
Yeah.
Archbishop of Canterbury, because they were. He saw them making the mask for the Archbishop
Yeah.
of Canterbury.
He's like, "That's not
Yeah.
the real." And then he tries to put his face on, and goes, it's on with plastic." And then,
Yeah, and then he pulls his trousers down to reveal the tattoo, but it's not there.
which again, perfect.
Because this is the real Archbishop of Canterbury.
It is the real
TV.
Archbishop of Canterbury. He can only move diagonally.
It is pretty bad that a lot of those big buildings have black and white tiled flooring.
Yeah. It makes things really awkward.
It's getting around real difficult. You
Great that the Queen can go wherever she wants.
yeah, but you
Exactly.
try.
It's because she owns all the land.
You have to be really careful where you stand though, because if she gets to you, you're taken away. Oh, we don't know enough about chess to keep telling chess.
Yeah,
jokes.
that's it. I've used up all my chess knowledge.
Yeah. So
He's like, oh shit, that is the Archbishop of Canterbury.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Which,
he
again,
goes to show the
a-
DVD of the plot.
Well, another point
Um,
that doesn't really need to happen is he stole the crown jewels. Doesn't need to happen. Creates a fake
I think the fake Archbishop is a backup
for what?
for
I
if
think
the real Archbishop isn't going to do it.
But they don't go into that at all. They just drop it. They're just like, aha, this will.
I think they're saying they were if they didn't get the original plan, like to get the public on side or whatever, then they do it this way, like by force.
Yeah. So he tells Boff to play the DVD, and the DVD is of him singing to ABBA
In his bathroom.
specifically.
Is it Super Trooper?
I think it's Super Trooper. Great part of the film.
Just him dancing around in the bathroom with a rubber duck.
Yes.
And then there's a big old fight.
yeah,
Yep.
he
And
is.
he
Um,
swings. He manages to swing and knock
Well-
Savage off the throne just as the crown comes down.
Well, no, because before
Yeah.
that, Savage kind of loses it and pulls out a gun, which like
Yeah, he goes a bit
how he
mad,
got
yeah.
a gun that far? Unless is the Queen packing? Is the Queen like carrying a gun everywhere? Is that standard?
I think like security agents are.
What do you think's in the small handbag?
But he's got a gun. I like the idea that she's walking around the Desert Eagle, just like,
Yeah.
just you try it.
She doesn't need a purse. It's a gun holder.
But yeah, he
Nah,
goes
she's-
a bit mad, yells at. He's like, "Why can't you British?" This is where it gets like weirdly patriotic British, where it's like, "Why can't you?" A Frenchman yelling at in I don't know where that crowning happens.
St. Paul's?
Yeah, it's like standing in that building yelling about how the English just need to do what they're told. It was very like, "Ooh, when was this made and who by?" Because he was like, "Yeah, you just don't know how to stand in line and do as you're told." Like, ooh.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I remember that from a few years ago. I remember that kind of fear. I'm really surprised that we didn't see more clips of Johnny English during during Brexit, because it was very like that kind of we're scrappy British people, we just don't do as we're told kind of patriotism, and it was really weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, he kind of starts for at that point he's just kind of forcing people to do what he says and put the crown him and
Johnny English manages to swing and kick him out of the throne,
which
and Johnny English gets thrown. Gets
he becomes
not throned.
he gets crowned. He
What's
becomes
the word?
king.
Crowned.
It brings up a good point though of even if under
Coronated? Or is that something you do to chickens?
something you do to chickens.
Yes.
Under duress, if someone is made royalty under duress, do we all just have to go along with it?
No. I mean, I think they're just hoping that England forgets its lawyer. I mean, the Queen can't abdicate under duress. The Queen, wouldn't, that's not...
Yeah, so...
Like, I willingly abdicate doesn't work if they've got a gun to her pet.
Yeah, so Savage's plan just kind of wouldn't work at that point anyway, because they'd just be like, put the crown on me and...
I mean, fuck, if he got that far, if the rest of it had worked, I don't know, maybe it would. But I don't think it would have got off the first sort of...
But the rule tends to be, if you're wearing the crown in St. Paul's, you're king now.
Even though you're supposed to have the bloodline, or maybe Johnny English has the blood. Who knows?
Because he...
No, I think it's just that he's crowned by the Archbishop.
Yeah.
By accident, but he's still crowned.
Yeah. So does that mean...
And I think it's more the taking advantage that no one really knows the rules.
No one knew what to do. Yeah.
Apart from maybe this one guy at the back says, well, actually, he's not king, so you don't have to do what he says.
Pulls out
and they're like, oh, okay, we'll let Savage keep shooting guns at us then.
Yeah. I also kind of like the idea that the Queen can point at anyone and go, arrest him, and the police just kind of have to.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen to us after
yeah,
we release this episode.
Well, we are talking about Britain unfavourably. Be sent to re-education camp.
So he's like, he's like, arrest that man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it just cuts to like the future where it's all about, like, it's just like a news report being like...
Yeah, and I assume Johnny English abdicated.
He's abdicated, yeah.
Yeah, gave it back to the Queen, and now he gets to bang Natalie Imbruglia, except he accidentally hits the ejector seat and she flies out the car.
Yeah, one last joke.
Nope, because the last joke is she lands in the pool, and who's there? But the man he described at the start of the film that he said was the real robber of the crown jewels.
Yeah, the guy with the bizarre, like, ginger
with the orange hair and banana-shaped scars.
Gonna be honest, I turned the film off before that.
I was gonna say, did you actually see that bit,
no,
Mikey?
I didn't. I have never seen that bit in my life.
I remember that was like a proper talking point when I was a kid. It's like, oh, did you see the end? Did you see the end of the film? Like, you have to watch like till the end because there's a funny bit.
I did not.
I think I remember pretending that I had. Like, oh yeah, I saw that, and then didn't actually see it again for ages.
Wow. Yeah, no, I don't.
I needed to fit in.
Out of 10 on that sad note.
Your out of 10's going to be better than mine.
I feel like mine isn't. I didn't really enjoy this that much this time round.
Was it all of the royalism?
At all.
Was it...
I've enjoyed reminiscing about it more than I enjoyed watching it.
Talking about it, great. This is definitely a movie that I enjoy more if I just happen to catch it on TV and it's halfway through. And it's
I'll
like,
watch a bit
I've
of
got
it.
45 minutes left just to have whatever the fuck is going on. Like, doesn't matter, and then a good film will be on after.
Yeah. I got time to kill.
I think I'm going to give this 3 Austin Powers movies I'd rather be watching.
3 is...
Oh, that is low.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have a great time watching this.
I wasn't even going to give it 3.
Oh, really?
I am now.
Well, I was going to give it... I'm going to give it... 6 times Johnny English. There's 6 times... there's foreshadowing in Johnny English.
Sorry, can you explain what a foreshadowing is? I don't think...
Right, so it's where you've got a light, and it's behind you.
Chekhov's light.
Yeah.
We're mixing tropes.
And there's a gun.
There's a gun. And you have a gun.
That has a gun.
You have a gun.
And it's behind you.
What you do, you have a gun in the first act, and by the third act, someone needs to get shot. That's the rules of Chekhov's gun, right? Someone gets shot.
So foreshadowing is when there are 4 people and there's 1 light.
It's a lighting trick.
There's 4 people following 1 person.
Yeah,
exactly. And
while they do their job.
Am I out of 10? I think I'm going to give it 3 Naked Gun franchises and 1 Spy Hard, which is a much better spy comedy. which I don't think either of you seen Spy Hard.
No, I don't think so.
No, I've seen the Naked Gun films, but ages ago.
Spy Hard is this. It's American Leslie Nielsen, Johnny English, made like 90s or 80s.
Yeah.
It's really good. Weird Al Yankovic does the music, does the theme.
Really good,
Oh, nice.
just like Johnny English.
Mm, 3 out of 10. Really great, really solid. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a solid 3. It's fine.
A solid 3,
So who was it that actually put this on the Patreon vote? Was it me?
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
I think for each 3 Patreon votes, yours is one.
That's because I have the best taste.
Because you're all
I'm
the
the- I'm the
Patreon and you
pop-
can vote.
I'm the popular
'cause
one.
you're one of the people voting.
Yeah.
I forgot to vote for this
Oh
one.
wow!
Oh, really?
What would you
Yeah.
have picked?
Yeah.
What would you have picked?
I mean, how tight was it? Would have I been a?
This was a 2-1. So this
As-
got 2, and one of the others had 1 vote. Speaking of the Patreon vote, though, we're actually going to be moving the voting over to Twitter now. We're not
Yeah.
going to have the voting specifically on Patreon anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
we're
Yeah, we're kind of changing the Patreon round
Is
a
it because
bit.
people forget to vote?
redeveloping. Well, it's so we can get more votes in. So we can
Yeah,
really have
more
a
people
battle.
can vote on the yeah,
of-
more
of-
people can vote on the movies. And so for the Patreon instead, we're just gonna try and do a few other things, but it's still kind of in the works. So
Yeah, bear with
it's
us.
getting there. Yeah,
Watch this space.
yes,
Well,
definitely.
Watch the Patreon space. This is sound. You can't
Yeah.
watch it.
Watch Johnny English.
Don't watch Johnny.
Watch Johnny
English.
English, but
And
before we
watch
get-
Johnny English Returns. And then
Johnny
watch
English
Johnny
Strikes
English
Back.
Strikes Back.
Wait,
I've
there's-
not seen Johnny English Strikes Back.
There's a third.
Or,
Yeah, there's a third one.
Oh no.
and he's old.
Ugh.
I guess with that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. You can join the podcast Discord and chat about the movies. Let us know if you enjoyed Johnny English. And what are we going to be doing on the Patreon?
On the Patreon this time, we are going to be funding a criminal act. We are going to try and steal the crown. We're not going to try. We're going to use your money to steal the crown jewels. And
For no
then-
reason.
No particular reason. But then, much more interestingly, we're going to huck them in the sea and just watch what happens. Just watch people try and work out where they are and just try and see what happens.
For legal purposes, this is Michael's idea and he is acting on his own.
No, I said we're hiring a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. As long as you
international-
hire people to do the crimes.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
But we're going to throw them in the
They're
ocean.
going into international waters. It's fine.
Yeah, we're going to throw them in the ocean. Just watch what happens. See how people just handle. Because I think that would send people mad. I think that would be like what the hell is happening?
Yeah,
Do you
like
think
they
it would
were
get
stolen and
published?
Not even sold on the black market.
Yeah,
I
just
reckon
throw it into
the
sea.
government would be like, "Oh, we found it. Don't worry," and it's actually just a replica.
It's
and
a
they like,
different- And then show
They're-
a video. There will be a video of someone throwing them into the sea. Be like, those aren't the real ones.
they'll be like, "No, it wasn't. That was just a really good replica. We've still got the crown jewels. Nobody panic.
Film
Keep
the
calm.
whole,
Carry on."
film the whole
You
stealing
can
thing.
only watch the video on our Patreon. Though.
Yeah, I just want a really surreal crime to happen like that, and just everyone be like, "How do we deal with this? What do we do?"
Well, before we
Yeah,
wrap
that's it.
up, I would also like to thank one of our Patreons. So the first person that signed up to our Patreon was Elle, who has actually been on this podcast before.
Yeah,
You can listen to the Critters 2 episode. You could listen to the Elm Enchanted Forest episode, but
it's
it won't make much
it's a
sense.
wild ride, that one.
Yeah.
I mean, the film's on
I-
YouTube. You could watch the film.
You could.
Yeah.
It is
It's-
interesting.
the
It's technically a
Patreon-
film.
Our Patreon supporters can also suggest other movies that they're nostalgic for. And Elle has suggested Weird Science, which I have never seen, so I'm sorry I have nothing to talk about with it.
I've heard about it.
I've never seen it.
We've done films we've never seen before. It'd be fine.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
one that all of us have never seen before.
Yeah, we have. I swear we have.
Only with
Dan,
guests
we've
that have
completely,
seen it.
With a guest,
we've
yeah.
completely derailed your Patreon. Thank you.
It's fine. It's the first one. It's fine.
No, thank you.
Have you
Genuinely,
enjoyed your
thank you.
shout out? No, it
Thank-
was very touching.
Yeah.
And we are humbled.
Yes, it's very.
We
yeah.
appreciate that because it genuinely does help this show continue.
Thank you, Elle.
Yeah.
Thank you, El.
Thank you, El.
So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and I guess go and maybe watch Johnny English if you want to. You might catch it on Film 4.
Yeah, just wait. Just put Film 4 on, it will turn on eventually.
I don't know. I feel like it's not good enough for Film 4 anymore. It's got ITV2 vibes.
Ooh.
Ooh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Film graveyard.